we've kept you a little while. We had an outstanding event in Milton right ahead of you, and they kept me a little long. Not quite this size, but everybody wanted a selfie, so it did go on a little bit. So I'm just thrilled. You know, when I entered this race, and yes, I entered a little bit later than the other guys, for good reason. I was waiting for some very important legislation in Mississauga, and we got it. And Mississauga, the third largest city in Ontario, will be able to control our own destiny in the future, which is so important because we were subsidizing the fourth largest city. Nonetheless, that's in the past, so I jumped in the race. Got a lot of catch up to do, but I tell you, I was told expect crowds of 4, 5, 6 people, and I have been blown away. Just like today, I come into a room, and yes, I realize we have 3 ridings represented, maybe even 4, and we have outstanding candidates. You just heard from Ekaterina. We have Natalie's here. Not Natalie. Chantal. Sorry. Knockout in that beautiful peach dress. And, yes. And Shuba, right here as well, right in front of me. Did I miss anyone? Jason is here. And also we just, Matt Francis, the counselor, and the former counselor were here with us. So I just want to thank you all for your support. I want to thank Vito and his team, Javed, for organizing today. Salam alaikum as well. I have been traveling across the province, and let me tell you what I've learned. Every small town, every community tells me the same thing. They've been neglected. They feel isolated. They don't feel listened to. And I said, well, how do you vote? And you know how they vote. And I said, what has your MPP done for you lately? What kind of investments have they brought to your riding? Same thing. We feel neglected. We feel isolated. We have to change that, my friends. As Liberals, if we don't speak to the small towns, the rural communities, the northern communities, and the francophone communities, if we only just speak to urban voters, the vote-rich GTA, we will never form government again. We must speak to the small towns, agricultural communities, northern communities, and francophone communities. And then I will not in 2034, but in 2026. Honest and ethical government. Let's restore honesty to government. What a novel thought. What a novel thought. Right, Chantal, he's laughing. It sounds like a no-brainer. Let's be decent people. I thought we would fight this election on affordability. I know the kinds of challenges you have here in Hamilton and Stoney Creek, affluent communities, homelessness, mental health, addictions. I know the challenges you have downtown. I speak to your mayor. I used to be chair of the big city mayors. I speak to your councillors. I know the challenges they face. But I'll tell you, it's no different than other places. Kitchener, Peterborough, imagine what it's like in Sudbury and Thunder Bay. And these are issues that have been downloaded to cities. These are responsibilities of the province, and to get it off their plate so they can post a $22 billion surplus, right? They're not transferring money where it's needed to the cities, to the municipalities to deal with issues like homelessness, mental health care, and addiction. Not to mention healthcare. That's money that should be going to our hospitals, right, and our education system. I, like you, have been a Liberal for most of my life. I knocked on doors for Pierre Trudeau. Anybody else here? Thank you. I joined the Ontario Liberal Party. I fought for David Peterson to be leader. That was my first provincial leadership campaign. So like many of you, I feel your Liberal values. 5 great candidates in this leadership. We should be thrilled. They're crossing the province, restoring hope, faith, pride in being a Liberal again. We are reinvigorating our brand. Look what we've got. Come on. We're in business, but we need to be caring and compassionate as Liberals. I believe in a universal, single-tier healthcare system. I believe our lives should be more affordable. I see our young people here, they're losing losing hope, they're losing faith in being able to purchase a home, being able to rent a property that they can afford. I have to support my food bank, increased use of 60%. Can you imagine? Life should be more affordable. I believe that we should have the best education system, my friends, like we did under Dalton McGuinty. And finally, I believe in climate change. I say that. Listen, in July, this July was the warmest on record globally. If that doesn't convince you, something is wrong. Sparking flooding in California, wildfires in the south of Italy, Sardinia, in Greece, in Western Canada, our beautiful Kelowna, Penticton, in Yellowknife, more fires in Northern Ontario than ever before, yet this government cut the funding to those firefighters, if you can believe it. We need measures to address climate change, and as a mayor, I will tell you the municipalities are dealing with a lot of these issues. We're implementing a lot of these lead techniques, low impact development, planting more trees, converting our fleets to electric vehicles, whatever we can do to mitigate and adapt to climate change. We are addressing it. This has to be done by the province. But let me tell you, the most profound thing that can be done is protecting our green belt and preserving our agricultural land. Questions, I'm happy to answer them. The important date, Katrina said September 11th. Unfortunately, we all remember that one, right? 9/11. You have to have registered. It's free. It's free. You don't have to buy a membership, you just register. The important thing is that the system is different this time. Every riding has points, 100 points. And so it goes towards your total. So in the smaller communities, like if you know folks in Brantford or Belleville, Hamilton Mountain is Mississauga, the smaller ones, so they're very valuable. So I'm asking if you have friends in the smaller towns. I see Olga from Stratford. We met in Stratford. She's been coming out with me. I love her. Stratford, I picked up that sandwich and that's it on boards, and I run a government today. We have 5 great people in this race. You will decide who will move forward to fight the premier in the next election. I think I can win in 2026. Woo! Issues we can talk about in limited time. I'm so honored. Let me just say one thing. I've traveled the north and in the small towns. I've been to Thunder Bay, Sudbury, Kenora, Fort Frances last weekend. It was Sault Ste. Marie. It was Timmins and Chapleau. And I walked into Chapleau, and it's a cafe in the daytime and a pub at night. And the owner opened the door and she looked at me and she said, "Wow, Mayor of Mississauga, you're a long way from home." That name recognition goes a long way. Then we were in Cornwall, Brockville, Perth, oh gosh, Napanee, Peterborough, help me out here, Margarita, Belleville, Cobourg. That was just last weekend. That's the kind of pace we're on. That's why I said we just came from one and we got a bit late. And I walked into Napanee, and as I said, I expected 6 people. And she said, "Well, we got more people, Bonnie." I thought, okay, 12. And she was arguing with the general manager. "I need a couple more tables, please. I've got a few more people." And he said, "Lady, this is Denny's. Breakfast is our business. This is my prime time, my peak hour. I can't give you any more." Mayor, aren't you far from, aren't you Bonnie Crombie? What are you doing here? I'm the one who needs the tables. So we got the tables. I'm telling you, if you knocked on doors in the last election, Stephen Del Duca was a great candidate, but you were explaining to people who he was, correct? Correct? They did not know who he was. You will not have that problem with Bonnie Crombie. I am not. And I run a government. So, here's my pledge to you. We will reverse the decision on the Greenbelt. We will stop the privatization. We will stop the privatization in medicine. We will invest in our hospitals, our healthcare workers, our PSWs. I have an 87-year-old mom. She wants to age in place. She said, just get me, if you get there, Bonnie, get me more support so I can stay. She has PSWs. These are trained professionals that earn barely minimum wage, my friends. It's shocking. It's very shocking. So I'm telling you, we will have the platform that will speak to all parts of our province.